Let's continue with the second type of regression now. The second type of regression is multiple regression. What is exactly the regressions when you're having the multiple different inputs and you're generating single output over there? So this concept is used. Now let's see meaning of it. Share the presentation. Okay. So multiple regression is the extension of linear regression into relationship between one or more than one variables, more than two variables basically. When we have multiple inputs and one output there. So in simple linear regression, we have one predictor and one response variable. But in multiple regression, we have more than one predictor variable and one response variable. More than one predictor and one response variable present. So general equation of is like that: y is equal to a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 plus till bn xn. Okay, a is your intercept, okay, general coefficient, and b1 b2 b3 bn are the coefficient. They are individually multiplied with every number. Okay, and why the response variable? That's it. This is what multiple regression is. So when multiple variables are generating single result, that time multiple regression can be applied. See, I'm having a data set with me, and on that data set, how these operations are performed, that we will see. We're having detailed explanation of it also theoretically. We'll see how to do this particular operation practically also. So just check it. So when multiple inputs are there, and we have to generate single output based on that, so we'll be making use of the concept of multiple regression. Now, to use Okay, so let us continue with a simple example of the multiple regression. So can see this, I'll share my screen of program here, and let us continue. For example, data set I'm having with me. See, so the data set name is the car evaluation data set is there. See, empty cars dot the first many others, number of gear, the carbon levels, like all. Okay, so all shown in this data frame. And now we have to build the multiple regression model for the same. Okay, let's continue. There was some problem in the system actually. That's why it was not connecting. So I started with a different account. Let's continue. What exactly the multiple regression is? So multiple regression is the method by which you can have multiple input variable and single output variable instead. Okay. So the data set that we are going to see is empty cars. So let's import that. Just a minute. Okay. See, it's a data frame. So basically this data set which can see over here, in this data, we are having multiple input variables. These are the input variables we are having. MPG is the output variable. Okay, so this is the output variable. And now see, before actually proceeding, we can make use of the CORR function, that is correlation function. With the help of that, we can identify that which variables are linearly correlated with the output variable. This is the application of correlation function. Now you can see output variable is here. Number of cylinder 85%. Negatively, yeah? Displacement minus 84, HP minus 77, drag 68, WT 86, many more. Everyone that we can see. Out of it, 4 variables are close to the outcome variable, output variable is MPG there. Now to create or to have the multiple regressions, we need to have multiple inputs. Like here in the X variable, I'll take let's say displacement, HP, and WT of that weight of this particular car, and in Y variable we'll take the mileage of the car, MPG, like this. Okay, if you just check X now, so 3 inputs are there, and with the help of it I need to build the algorithm which is based on the multiple regression. So one outcome variable is mileage of the car, and 3 input variables are there. And when you actually build the model, so let's see, when you build the model, same function is there that we have used in linear regression, same class. See, so I imported that. We create the object of it. Okay, so using that object, you can train the algorithm with the given data. So the difference will be there. We'll be having multiple input variables now with one outcome variable present in it. Fine. Okay, that's what you can see. So I'm importing it, and then the object of linear regression will be created. It's created. Now we'll train the algorithm. See, when you train the algorithm with the given data, so it's done. Fine. Regressor dot fit. The object is created now. When the object is created, as we have seen in the equation of multiple regression, there are multiple coefficients present. Okay, multiple coefficients are there, and one intercept means one value of C and multiple values of input variable, input coefficient A are present there. So what are that? See that that's already calculated here. This is 3 coefficient that we have. The first coefficient or first slope we can say in single regression we have, it's for the first variable, second for second variable, third for third variable, and for the next one, that is intercept, will be single, is this. Check it. This coefficient and intercepts are there. And if you want to check the score, is how much accurate is that, so you can use score function to do this operation, x comma y into 100. 82.68% R2 score, which is present for this particular data set, and we can identify this is the accuracy of this particular algorithm here. And if you want to do the predictions on this set of data, so we can use some the same equation that's multiple regressions internally having. Okay, whatever equation we have, we know the equation on the given set of data. Now see, let's define some values. I want to do the predictions now, predictive analytics on this. Let's see, displacement is equal to 2 to 1. Okay, like this. Then HP is equal to 102. and WT is equal to, let's say, 2.91. These three variables are there. I want to find mileage of this car. So the mileage of this car is like y is equal to a plus. So we have this intercept plus this value is multiplied by displacement, okay, plus this value is the second coefficient is multiplied with HP plus this value. Okay, we don't have anything raised to over there, that's why I'm directly taking it there. Is multiplied by WT, that is the weight. Okay, WT into, now you can see this mileage of this car is 22.65 miles per gallon. That's a unit that it's having there, miles per gallon, 22.65. So using the formula of multiple regression, I have calculated it. Remember that. And if you want to do the same operation, so you can use the predict function for the same that we have seen in the previous session. Okay. For example, 2 to 1 is the first variable. Second variable is, sorry, we'll directly put it there, displacement, because these variables are already created, HP and WT. Now see this. Yes, exactly same number I'm getting over here, 22.65. Correct. Like that. This is what you call as the multiple regression. When multiple variables are connected to each other linearly. So one more important thing to note that when we are talked about the correlation concept, there I have told about positive regression and negative regressions. Positive and negative both regressions are there. Now whether you approach towards +1 or towards -1, it's a regression, but it should not approach toward the zero. Linearity is not there. Linearity will be present when you approach toward 1 or the -1. So here we have seen that negativity is present in the relation. So we have to show that. When graphically also we will create something by which you can check this linearity here. But on single plane is not possible. Single graph is not possible because the range of displacement HP and WT are different. That's why on single graph it will be difficult to view them. So I'll create three different kind of graphs here to show the relationship. You can check relationships for multiple variables now. Okay, so I'm importing this and I'll create this subplot for this. Let's say in this first subplot, okay, so here I'll draw input variable is x of, let's say, displacement against MPG or against y, like that. You can see this, you can observe it now. This is a single graph and you can observe that they're decrementing, correct? X is incrementing and y is decrementing there. So like that, I'll plot other plots also on single plane here, displacement, then HP against y, and then three plots. Okay, we have seen that concept in last semester, how to create this dashboard. WT, and I'll increase the size of this graph also. Figure with fixed size 16 by 9. Check it. Okay, all three plots I got now. Plus displacement against HP, so displacement against MPG. So here you can see displacement and MPG. Mileage is decreasing when displacement increases. This case, this is HP against the mileage. Again, mileage is decreasing when horsepower increases. This one. Third case. This case also, yes, when weight increases, mileage decreases. So it means that all three are negatively connected there. See, for example, if you want to check x dot CORR with correlation with y. Okay, if you check the correlation of x with y, okay, so it will show you the relationship with all three. First case, displacement is negative 84, HP is negative 77, and 6. Fine. So this is what a negative regressions. When negative regression is there, where one variable is incrementing, second is decrementing, like this. and the overall combined accuracy of this data is 82.36%. Correct. This is this is what we call as the multiple regressions. We can have that equation, we build it, we do the predictive analytics with the same. We'll go in detail also technically how exactly this operation performed. This is the second type of regression which is used. Now let's go with the third type of regression. The third type of regression is called as polynomial regression. Polynomial is used when the x raised to something or y raised to something. Why not? Basically, input variable is not having the power of 1. That time we are going to make use of this. Let's see this. Just a minute. Yes. The third case is called as polynomial regression. Polynomial regression is a special case of linear regression where we are having input output. Okay, polynomial regression special case for both, means single input single output is also there, and single output and single input and multiple input and single output is also there. So considering the real world example, the data might not be so linearly, but they are scattered. They are not linear, they will be scattered data is present there. So in such cases, linear regression might not be the best way to describe the data. A curve or non-linear line may be the best fit for such kind of data. Maybe it's possible. When you talked about the overfitting, there one example was mentioned. Whatever data we have, exact line is linear, and you have to fit that curve inside the line, inside the respective point, is called as the polynomial regression. So in case of polynomial regression, we are going to use the data in the curved fashion. But how exactly it's possible? How this is done? So that also we will see. See, this is the quadratic equation. The equation of quadratic equation of polynomial degree 2 will be used. So see the first one. Here original equation is like b0 plus b1x. Okay. If you are going to have polynomial degree 2, we'll be having b1x into b2x square, second degree polynomial. Then similarly third degree, b0 b1x b2x square plus b3x cube. Go on using it. For nth degree polynomial, your equation will be y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 into x plus beta 2 into x square plus beta 3 into x cube plus go on beta n into x raised to n, where n is the degree of polynomial. That will start from 2 onwards, all any number there. So curve like that will be created. In this format that will be created. We have seen the concept of these curves also. How when you are using polynomial degree, then how these curves are created, that we have seen in one of the example previously. So same idea is used over here to create the polynomial degree. So to do this one, there's a method, means practically we'll see how exactly these regressions are performed. The example that we have seen for linear regression, same I will carry forward, and in that we will modify and perform operation of building the model. But see how the exact polynomial system is done. So there's a data pre-processing is required to perform the polynomial regression. Now it works quite simply. It takes a matrix of features and transform it into a feature matrix of quadratic in nature. See this, for example, you can try that one. I'm having a data set with me in this way. X is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 something, or in this way it's present. In this way the data is present. Okay, and now I want to perform the polynomial regression. So what I have to do, I have to convert this x data into nth degree polynomial, for example second degree polynomial. So in second degree polynomial it will be performed like this, degree 2. I mentioned, I'll show you how exactly it is done. Now it's a matrix in the form of this. You can check it. First all column will be 1, then a as it is, then b, then a square, a into b square, then again a cube, means if you are going to have multiple degrees, cube, then raised to 4, raised to 5, raised to 6, like that. It is transforming data in that particular format. When you transform that data, that time the curves will be created, just like we have seen that. We'll talk about that, we'll see this when our curve are created, when the curves are created, then it may be possible that the data will be most fitted in that particular curve, and that is what we call as the polynomial regression. So let's see this, how exactly polynomial regression will be covered. So we will use the same example of the linear regression, and using that we'll perform the operation of finding the best fit line for the same. So let's see, I'm just carrying previous file as it is. What's the name? I think 44. Just a minute. So that example will carry forward, and then we will see how the effect is present there. Just a minute. Yes. So this was the file that's what we are using. Just a minute. Check it. Okay. Now, so I'll execute it and then we'll talk about this. Check this. Executing this, and we'll see the same data here when you create this. So I've done this cross validation of it. Then yes, it's created. R2 score is 94% almost, and the graph also we have seen. Okay, now say this is the graph it's created here. Now what I'll do, I'll transform into polynomial format. This is a special case. This perfect line is there. Maybe if you create a curve for that, so that data will be perfectly fitted. Maybe it's possible there. So to do this one, before actually using the data here, okay, I will transform the data into the polynomial format. Now see this, I'll just transform that data. So I'll use polynomial features. Let's say degree 2. Okay, and polynomial transfer data will be like this. Okay, can see original data is like this. It contains the experience. All 1 will be there on the first column, and then 1.1 1 point, these are the original data of x. This is a square of it. Square is done, that is degree 2, and you can see that square is created for all the numbers. Square of this number is 110.25, like that. Fine. Or we put degree 4, so accordingly that number of rows 1. Okay, then we have 1.1, then 1.21, then 1.331, 1.4165, like that. In this format the data is transferred. Check this. Correct. Or we'll use np dot round for this. Yeah, now it's okay, that we can use. See, so polynomial transform data, let's say I'm using 4-degree polynomial here. Okay, I've transformed the data into 4th-degree polynomial, and then we will see effect of data present. So I'm doing the same task ahead now. create a linear regression. Only the input is I am transforming polynomial format. That's the only difference I have done. Remaining other concept I am taking as it is. Now check. The score, regression score is changed. It is 94.85 now. And if I am doing the predictions, okay, input data is different. Sorry, that's why it's not showing that. Just check it. The R2 score is 98.20. It was 97% previously. It is now 98.20. Remember. And if you come below and we'll check the exact result presented here. Okay, so see this one. I'm just executing this now. The graph, original data and predicted data. Just a minute. Any problem here? Regressor dot predict on X. Here X and Y is the original. Just a minute. This is predicted and X and predicted on X poly, not X actually. Yes. Polynomially predicted data. Yes. Now see, can you observe the curve there? This one, the line, green line is having a curve, small curve. Degree is 4th degree polynomial. Data is very high, that's why it's not looking a perfect curve. But there's a curve created. Because of that, R2 score is now 98%. Fine. Here you can see 98.20%, this one. That's we got. And now I'll check the polynomial again. Here you can see this. So polynomial degree 4 I have kept. Now make it 7 now. This is 7th degree polynomial transform data till raised to 7. Okay, then we have done that. Then create the object again. Repeat it. Now check the score. 95 now. It was from 93 to 94. Now 95.87. Okay, done. And if you check the R2 score of it, sorry, you can check the R2 score. 90. Yes, it has changed a bit. 98.72 now. And if you check the curve here, now see, yes, now it is almost now reaching to other values. That's why it is 98.72 score is there. See how the curve is created. Not exact curve in this direction, but it is approaching toward the maximum values there and increasing the accuracy for this set of data. Okay, I know that this value is the highest degree or perfect degree of polynomial for this is 13. So if you make it 13th degree polynomial, this is giving highest accuracy for this data set. Okay, so I've created it. And now see, for 13th degree polynomial, update is created. Check the R2 score. And if you go to show the graph here, sorry, data is required, not required to be splitted here. Actually, I have splitted the data. That's why it is shown like that. Wait a minute. I'll just use original data, X train, X and Y here. And then we see the score of it, X and Y, 95. And we just check the original data now. X and polynomially transferred data of X. So size problems are there. Just a minute. Yes, X train polynomially transform data. It should be transform polynomially, and then we'll be using it just in here it is. Yes, 98.30 is the result of it. And if you check this data now, you can see This is 13-degree polynomial data. You can see that curves are generated here, by which the distance between the line and the original point is reduced. This is called as the polynomial regression. With the help of that, polynomial curves are created and polynomial regression is generated. Means curve-based regression system is created here. This is called as the polynomial regression, the third case of regression here. Okay, so let's continue with the fourth case of regression which we use. So fourth case of regression is called as the logistic regression. Logistic is a special case of linear regression. Again, we'll talk about that, how exactly the logistic regression is presented. Just a minute, I'll share the presentation for this. Now see, the logistic regression is also one most important type of the regression technique. Most important, which is again a special case of linear regression here. So logistic regression is the appropriate regression analysis to conduct when the dependent variable is dichotomous, that is binary. Output variable is binary. So like all the regression analysis, logistic regression is a predictive analysis. Logistic regression is used to describe the data and to explain the relationship between one dependent binary variable and one or more nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio level independent variables, with variable input variable of any kind, that can be of any type. Remember, so one important thing to know that though the name of classification, this algorithm carries regression, it is used for the classification algorithm there. Now, how exactly it is done? There are multiple different ways of logistic regression are present. Binary logistic, where two possibilities are there. Multinomial, where more than two possibilities are there. Ordinal, more than two are there, but they are in sequence, ordering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. See how this actually system is created. See the linear regression. Simple linear regression, we know that y is equal to b0 plus b1x. And in multiple regression also we have talked about y is equal to b0 plus b1x1, b2x2, like go on using it. And we have seen this example also, experience against salary. Experience on this side, salary on this side. And we plotted this line. Perfect. Now, a new problem is there now in front of us. Now, let's see, for example, a company has provided an offer by email to their customers. Okay, offer to email to the customers. So few of them have received it and few of them have not received it. Let's see. According to age, I just got that particular data. Now, this is on x-axis, I'm having age, on y-axis, I'm having action, whether you have received or not. So 1 is received and 0 is not received. The people with this age here, they have received it. Sorry, they have not received it. And these people have received it. These people with that age. You can see that. Now, if you compare this two-dimensional entity, one on x-axis, another on y-axis, you can see input data is okay, it's a continuous variable, but output variable is categorical. Now, make sure that when output variable is categorical, we have to apply the classification algorithm. But by using regression, linear regression, can we solve it? Is it possible to solve this problem with linear regression? Maybe possible, maybe. Means I can draw a line for this particular data set and accordingly we can identify it. See, for example, if I'm applying linear regression for this case, what will happen? So my line will be like this. Here at the averaging line of all will be like that. Maybe here the one outcome is there, here 0 is there, and when I'm doing the predictions, my result will be 0.2, 0.5, 0.6, 0.9, or 1.5 also. Above that will also grow. That we know that regression is not limited. Any possibility of outcome is possible based on the given input there. Here also below 0 is also possible. But important thing to note that by observation you can find that there is nothing present above this line, above this point and below this point, and even in between these points also nothing is present. Correct. So this what we just have to remember, above this point and below this point and between this line. So what we will do, okay, now we'll make sure that above this point are all are 1 and below this point all are 0. Let's create a line like this. Let's assume in this particular way. Fine. And one more important things to note, that now can I convert this data into probabilistic fashion? See, so what we are having line, the line is like this. Now there is a function called a sigmoid function. It's a statistical function, sigmoid, is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus y. So whatever y we have, outcome variable we have, that's present over here. 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus y. So if you put the sigmoid function in this formula, it will be like this. So natural logarithm, ln, natural logarithm of p divided by 1 minus p is equal to b0 plus b1 into x. If you put that, if you apply linear regression to this formula, it will create a curve like this. See, that's a curve created here. The point will start and it will create a curve like this and will go ahead. Not a straight line, not a straight line, it will create a curve. The curve is like high probabilities there from center to below and low high probability from center to above also. The values which are on the second half of the curve, they will be approaching toward the high value, and where from the same below the center, they'll approaching to the lower value. That's what the meaning of this particular curve. So when you apply this, you're transforming linear model into the sigmoid model. This is called as a logit function, basically. Logit function, logistic function. When you apply that, we'll get the curve something like this way. Okay, so this is your logistic regression. But how exactly the predictions are possible now on that line? We have seen the line predictions for linear regression, polynomial regression, multiple regression. But what about the logistic regression? Now the model is this. That's what we have shown over here, and the curve, logistic curve, sigmoid curve, that will be created. Let's see how the predictions are done in logistic regression here. In the input, we have the x, age, correct, and on output here on y variable we consider probability of the output, that is p hat. P hat is the probability, p hat, that will be having as the output variable, p hat. Fine. Y, and input is this one. Now let's see. Now I want to do the predictions. So for example, my input is 20, input is 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? If I project this 20 on the curve, I'll get a probability value here. For example, here we have 0 probability and here we have high probability. 0 probability, above this point is so very small above the 0 probability here, 20. So we'll get a probability of 0.7 here at this point, 0.7. 0.7 probability is there. This is a probability curve that we can say. If I project this 30 on the curve, I'll get 23% probability. I'll get 40 on this curve, I'll get 85% probability. If I get 50 on this curve, I'll get 99.4% probability here, like that. This is what we transform. So when you use the logit function or logistic function, it will find the probability of this data. Okay, like that, in this way, project it on the curve. Just like we have seen your function, y is equal to mx plus c. When you project on the line, its y value is there. So here y value is there, but y value is in the probability format, y hat. So probability there. Now, then what is the class? How can you generate the result? Output variable, y there. It is predicted like that. So predicted dependent variable y will be like this. See, when I project this y on the line here, so I get the probability. Now the point or the probabilities which are above 50%, they are in second class, and which are below 50%, they are in first class. So year 20 and 30, we're having probability in the fierce class that is less than 50, that is their class will be 0, and for probability for 40 and 50 is above 0.5 and their class is 1. Okay, so 0 for previous class and 1 for the second class, that is where above 0.5%, 0.5 above, 0.5 below. So this is the method which is followed into the logistic regression. It's applied, okay, so modified version of linear regression, but it's applied only when your outcome variable is linear, means output variable linear hai, but it is categorical, linear but categorical. That case, logistic function will be applied and logistic regression will be used there. Okay, this is what the logistic regressions are. So when your problem is linearly separable, by drawing a line, we can create the two different kind of classes. So for example, if you plot that data and by drawing a line, above class and below class can be seen. Yesterday we have seen about that classification kind of algorithms. When you draw a line, so classes can be separated. This is called the classifications. And logistic regression also will create a perfect model when it's possible to draw a line to separate them classes. But if linearly separable problems are not there, then logistic regression cannot perform the perfect operation onto it. This is the special case. That's what logistic regression is present over here. Find the third kind of regression algorithm, and only algorithm of regression which is used for classification task. Let's see that one, how exactly the operation of logistic regressions are done. See, for example, okay, I'll continue with this program as it is above. How logistic regression will perform the operation that we will see. Just a minute. It's sharing, I think. Yes. Now, let's say I'm having a data with me, some kind of data. So that data is this. Take it out. See, df is equal to is a simple data set I'm having. It's called a social network ads. And see this. See, for example, this is the advertise. These are the advertisements shown on the social media, and by clicking on that, some people have purchased it, some have not purchased it. Okay, some people have purchased and some people have not purchased that product, and their information is shown. There's user ID, their gender, their age, estimated salary is mentioned inside it, and whether they have purchased or not, it's mentioned here. 0 means they have purchased and 1 means they have not purchased. Means outcome variable is in 0 and 1 format here, and these 4 are the input variable. But out of 4 input variable, we will take only 2, age and estimated salary only input, and purchase is the output variable for that case. So based on age and estimated salary, we'll predict that whether the customer is purchasing or not, and we are going to create a model of it. See that it's very easy to build this particular model. We'll finish. See, for example, X is taken and Y is just purchased, like that. See, so this is my input. So based on age and salary, whether the customer is purchasing that product or not, that model I want to create. So here in Y, you can see Y. So there's a function called as value counts. You can identify, sorry, counts. Identify. So 0 are present 257 times and 1 is present for 143 times. It means both classes are there. And if you combine them together, 400 entries are there in it. Correct. In this data set. Now I want to build a model by which you can predict that whether the customer is purchasing or not purchasing. Customer will purchase or will not purchase that particular item. That's what you have to perform the operations over here based on this data. The problem is that, or by using logistic regression, why is useful for such particular cases, because my outcome variable is categorical. Outcome variable is categorical, or we can take only single also. Maybe age and can be taken, or salary can also be taken only. That's also one of the problem, but I've taken both of them here. Okay. Yes. Now let's build the model. But before building the model, there is a concept called as normalization that you have to apply for this data. We're having a separate topic, normalization in multiple regression also. Again, we are going to see about that. I'll just explain in 2 lines. When we are having the columns in the data set and they are vary in the range and magnitude, that time you have to normalize the data. Okay, vary in range and magnitude. So you can see age, its range is I think 18 to 60 are there, and salary is 15,000 to 1,50,000 is there. So their magnitude are different completely. So when the magnitude are different, you have to normalize the data for the regression concepts. Previously we are not having that variation, but here too much variations are there. That's why normalization is required. We'll see this concept detail again in the upcoming session also. 3 normalization techniques are there that I will show you, and why to do that also we will see it again. And just put these variations are there, that's why we are applying the normalization here. So see, I'll just apply this normalization technique. Kiran dot. So in pre-processing, this technique is present. What is standard scalar? Okay, and scaled x. Just a minute. Okay, so x I have scaled. Just what happened? Scalar. Okay, and after that we will going to split the data into train test split format. That is for validation of it. X train, X test, Y train, Y test with train test split. So we'll split this data in 2 formats. So 300 entries will go into training data and 100 will be going testing data. That is 75-25 by default, which this function is already having. Randomization is compulsory. Okay, so I have splitted this data, randomized and splitted this data, and then I'll build the logistic regression model here. So if you just check the training data now, 300, and testing data is 100. See this. This is what splitting that we have done, 300 and 100. And now we will build the logistic regression model when you're going to do the predictions of this. Now to do these operations, let's import the logistic regression. So it's also a linear model. Import it. It's a classifier, that's why I'm giving the name CLF. Any name can be assigned, not to worry about this. And now let's train the algorithm with the given data set. So I'm using the training data, only 300 entries to train. So model of logistic regression will be created. Yes. And now what we will do, I have kept this 100 entries aside. 100 entries aside that I will use, and based on that we'll do the prediction. So 100 entries are separate. Out of that, few will match, few will not match. Okay, Y test we have already separated, and we'll predict the Y pred. So using this classifier object, I'll predict the remaining entries which I have kept aside. Okay, for all remaining 100 entries, I have predicted the Y value, Y pred. CLF dot predict X test. Correct? Y pred. So Y pred is predicted by algorithm, and Y test originally we are having with us. And then we are going to compare it. So there is a metric, classification metric called as classification confusion matrix. I think we have seen that last time, that we are going to use it now. Let's see. Let's use confusion matrix. And here original data and predicted data we'll use. See this. original data and predicted, sorry, data minute. It is here we need to apply the scale data. I've done scaling, but that data is not used there. Scale data is required. This has happened because of scaling, not scale done. Now see, this is the classification report, that is your confusion matrix, sorry. And here 65 entries are matching 0, 0 out of 68, and 24 entries are matching out of 32 for 1, 1. So 65 plus 24, total 89 entries are matching here. 89 entries are matching in the remaining 100. Means what we have done, we have predicted from algorithm, we are already having some entries. And how many are matching, that we have seen? 89 entries are matching, means 89 is the accuracy of this algorithm. That we can find. So there's a function called as accuracy score, which is used for the classification algorithm basically. So linear logistic regression is a classification algorithm. That's why you can use it there, and you can see this 0.89 is the accuracy of this particular algorithm there. This is how the model of logistic regression can be created. It's a class completely done all the steps with the classification operation as it is. You have to separate input, then output. You have to scale the data, and after that we'll build the algorithm and we're going to do the prediction. Now see, let's have a simple prediction here. We'll do a simple prediction that the salary is this, then age is this, then whether he will purchase or not purchase, that we are going to identify with the help of this data set. Now how to do this one? So let's take a new data set here. New is equal to where its age is 34 and its salary is like 56,000. 56,000. Is it there? So I want to predict that this person will purchase this from advertisement or not. That is what your 0 and 1 is there. So we have to scale this data first, and after scaling only it's possible to do. So CLF dot predict new dot scalar dot transform new. So result will be 0. Result for this case is 0. That this age and this particular salary person is purchasing this item or not. 0 means it is not purchasing something. Okay, I will change this. Let's make the age 54 and salary as 1,24,000 something. Check. Purchasing? Yes, purchasing. Like 1 is the result now from the same. So this is how the effectiveness of algorithm is. So you use this data, build their linearity is there. We're having a linearity present in this, but here we are having multiple linearity present. Means multiple inputs are there presented inside it, and based on that you're generating the result here. We are drawing a line. So maybe directly Pearson correlation will not show the correct result for this case. For example, if you like this one, just a minute, what is X? XURR width we require. Now see, okay, direct correlation is not there. Here age is 62% and estimated salary is 36%. Drawing a line is not the best way to do. See, that's what you can find. That's why we'll draw a curve, we'll identify the probability of it, and based on that we are going to do the predictions on that data. So in this way, these particular predictions are possible when the data is linearly separable, outcome variable is categorical. That case, the logistic regression, this another fourth category of regression that we have seen that is applicable. 4 more are present, that also we will see, and the small topics which are mentioned as a part of theory, that also we'll see in the next session. Okay, if you have any doubts or questions, so you can ask.